Do you know what's worse than being rejected by a woman? It's being tolerated by her. When she keeps you around, not because she loves you, but because you fill the silence between the men she truly wants. Most men never realize when they've been quietly demoted from priority to option. It doesn't happen with an argument or a breakup text. It happens in small, invisible moments, when her replies get shorter, her tone colder, and her curiosity about you fades. You'll feel it in your gut before you ever see it. The truth is, women don't lose interest overnight. They re-rank you internally based on how you make them feel. And if you make her feel safe but not inspired, available but not respected, present but not desired, you become the placeholder. You see, being a woman's priority has little to do with how much you love her. It's about how much she feels your absence. When a woman feels like she can predict your every move, when she knows you'll always text first, always say yes, always forgive without reflection, she unconsciously begins to pull away, not because she's cruel, but because her psychology is wired to crave polarity. Certainty feels safe, but mystery feels alive, and that's where most men destroy their own attraction. They confuse consistency with dependency. They think being reliable means being available 24/7. But to a woman, availability without boundaries feels like weakness. She doesn't want to lead the emotional rhythm. She wants to feel your strength through your standards, not your submission through your fear of losing her. The secret to being a woman's priority isn't to chase her approval. It's to build a reality so strong, so magnetic, that she fights to be part of it. You don't pull her closer by begging for validation. You make her choose you by becoming the man who doesn't need to be chosen to know his worth. And once you understand that dynamic, once you realize that attraction is about gravity, not grasping, everything changes. Because the truth is, you were never supposed to chase her attention. You were supposed to make her earn your presence. A woman's psychology is a landscape of emotion, instinct, and memory. And every action you take plants something there. Some seeds grow into attraction, others into quiet resentment. And most men don't even realize what they're planting until it's too late. You see, a woman's attraction isn't logical. It's emotional hierarchy. She prioritizes the man who moves her emotionally, not the one who simply treats her well. And that's a brutal truth most men can't handle, because they think good behavior alone earns desire. It doesn't. Good behavior earns appreciation, but emotional impact earns obsession. Every woman, no matter how independent she claims to be, is subconsciously drawn toward emotional challenge. Not chaos, but challenge. She wants to feel something real. When you make her think, when you hold your ground, when you're not easily swayed by her moods, she starts to see you differently. You're not just another man trying to please her. You're a man she can respect. And respect is the oxygen of feminine desire. Without it, she suffocates emotionally and pulls away. That's why the man who never says no, who fears confrontation, who's desperate to keep her happy at all costs, unknowingly teaches her that he's replaceable, because he's showing her he values her comfort more than his own integrity. But the man who commands her respect, he doesn't beg for it. He earns it by being grounded, consistent, and unshaken. He doesn't threaten to leave, but he will walk away if his boundaries are crossed. That quiet confidence makes her nervous, intrigued, and drawn in all at once. When she senses that you're not fighting for her approval, that you're living by your own code, she feels something powerful, emotional polarity. It's that magnetic tension between your certainty and her curiosity. That's when you stop being an option and start becoming a priority. Because in her mind, priority equals emotional security and excitement combined. And only a man who knows himself deeply can offer both. A woman doesn't want to lead emotionally. She wants to respond emotionally. So when you show up as a man she can respect, follow, and trust, she will naturally rewire her focus around you. Not because she has to, but because she can't help it. Silence. It's the most underestimated power a man has, and the one most men fear to use. Because silence exposes truth. It forces her to feel the void you once filled. But here's the secret. A woman can only chase clarity when she's allowed to miss it. When you stop over-explaining yourself. When you stop reacting to every shift in her tone. When you stop trying to fix her emotions, you create psychological space. That space becomes a mirror, and in that mirror, she starts to see what she's losing, because for the first time, your energy isn't instantly available. She has to reach for it. You see, a woman's mind runs on emotional contrast. The more predictable you are, the less emotionally stimulating you become. The moment she feels she fully owns your attention, she unconsciously tests its value. That's why silence isn't weakness. It's gravity. It pulls her in without words. When you stop chasing validation, your energy shifts. You become still, but not distant, present, but not needy. You respond, but you don't react. That difference rewires everything. It triggers a primal curiosity in her. She starts asking herself, why isn't he chasing me anymore? And that question alone reopens her emotional connection. But you must understand, your silence only works when it's backed by strength, not by spite. If you're quiet just to manipulate her, she'll feel it. But if your silence comes from self-respect, from a place of calm certainty, it becomes magnetic. She begins to sense that your attention has value, that not everyone gets access to it. And when your presence feels earned, it becomes priceless. Remember, attention is currency in every relationship. The more freely you give it, the less it's worth. The more you guard it, the more she wants to earn it. That's human psychology. Scarcity breeds value, and value breeds desire. So if you want to be her priority, don't announce it. Don't beg for it. Withdraw, recalibrate, and let your silence say what words never could. My time, my energy, and my peace are not for sale. That's when she begins to chase clarity, not because you asked her to, but because your silence reminded her of what she stands to lose. Purpose. It's the one thing that makes a man untouchable in a woman's mind, because a man who lives for something greater than her instantly becomes the one she respects the most. Every woman, deep down, can feel when a man's life revolves around her versus when it revolves around his mission. And here's the truth. The first type of man becomes her comfort. The second becomes her craving. When your life has direction, when your energy is anchored in something beyond her, a goal, a dream, a purpose, she senses it. It's in your eyes, your tone, your discipline. You stop asking for permission to grow and start demanding excellence from yourself. That shift in energy changes how she relates to you, because women don't fall in love with men who need them. They fall for men they can believe in. Purpose is what separates attraction from admiration. She might be drawn to your looks, your humor, or your charm, but she only respects a man whose vision challenges her to evolve too. When you move with intent, you don't need to chase. Your direction does the chasing for you. Every decision you make, every boundary you set, communicates that your time is limited and your focus is sacred. And that makes her feel something she rarely admits: safe. Not safe because you're predictable, but safe because your masculinity has structure. You're not lost in emotion. You're not reactive to her moods. You are calm, consistent, and certain, even when she isn't. That kind of strength isn't loud, it's steady. It's the quiet confidence of a man who doesn't need validation to stay grounded. A man with purpose doesn't fear loss, because he understands that love is meant to align with his mission, not replace it. And when a woman senses that, she naturally aligns herself with that direction. She wants to walk beside you, not lead you. She wants to add to your world, not become your world. So never shrink your vision to make a woman comfortable. Never dim your fire to make her stay. Because the moment you make purpose your priority, she'll make you hers. And that's when you stop being an option and become the gravity that her emotions orbit around. Emotional discipline, the art of mastering your reactions, is what truly separates a man she forgets from a man she never gets over. Because let's be honest, any man can be charming when things are easy, but it's how you handle emotional friction that defines how deeply a woman respects you. When she's distant, when she tests you, when she tries to provoke emotion, most men fold. They explain, they defend, they overtalk. But what they don't realize is that women test to feel your center. Not to hurt you, but to see if your masculinity can hold its ground when her emotions become a storm. And when you stay calm, when you breathe through it, when you refuse to match her chaos, she feels something she can't fully describe: trust. A woman's attraction isn't just about chemistry, It's about safety, not physical safety, but emotional safety. She needs to feel that your emotions don't collapse under pressure. Because if you can't handle her moods, how could you handle life's? That's why emotional discipline is the ultimate test of strength. You don't control others, you control yourself. You don't suppress emotion, you channel it. You become a container, solid, grounded, stable. That's what makes you unforgettable. The man who can walk away without anger, love without obsession, and stay silent instead of begging. That man is burned into a woman's subconscious because he shows restraint in a world full of reaction. You see, indifference is not cruelty, it's self-respect wrapped in calmness. And when you master that, you project something rare, certainty. Women crave certainty more than words, gifts, or attention. Certainty tells her, no matter what happens, I remain me. That's power, that's peace. Because when you stop fighting for approval, you become the man she can't emotionally replace. You're not chasing her validation, you're holding your frame. That's when her curiosity returns, her respect deepens, and her attraction rebuilds itself, naturally. A man's greatest leverage isn't manipulation, it's emotional mastery. The ability to stay calm when most would crumble, to stay composed when most would react. That's the moment she realizes she's not just with another man, she's with a leader. And in that realization, she'll prioritize you, not out of fear of losing you, but out of awe that she found you. Here's the truth that no one ever told you. A woman can't make you her priority until you do. Not out of arrogance, not out of ego, but out of deep self-respect. Because when you stop begging to be chosen, you start radiating the kind of energy that gets chosen naturally. You've learned that attention loses value when it's given without thought, that silence can speak louder than words, that a man's purpose is the pulse that gives meaning to his presence, and that emotional control, that calm, grounded power, is what makes a woman feel safe enough to surrender her heart. So let's make it real. If she walks away, you don't chase. You don't argue, you don't beg, you don't prove. You let her feel what life is like without your energy. You stay focused, you stay composed, you stay aligned with your mission. Because your value doesn't vanish when someone stops seeing it. It simply waits to be recognized by someone who can. A woman doesn't fall for the loudest man in the room. She falls for the man whose silence carries weight, the one whose presence feels like direction, the one who could have any woman's attention but chooses his peace first. That's the man she prioritizes. That's the man she fights to understand, to please, to keep. And when you truly become that man, when your standards, your silence, and your self-control become unshakable, the world responds differently. Opportunities open. People treat you differently. Even your past stops haunting you because you've built something stronger than desire, identity. You were never meant to chase love. You were meant to attract it by embodying purpose, confidence, and inner calm. When you master those, you stop playing the emotional games. You stop being a man who needs to be someone's priority and become the man who is the priority in every room he enters. So, let me ask you something. Are you living like a man who demands respect or one who silently begs for it? Answer that in the comments below, because that question will reveal everything. If this message hit something inside you, like this video, share it with a friend who needs to hear it right now, and make sure to subscribe, because your evolution as a man has only just begun.